Hello, everybody. We're live. Hi. Hello. Welcome to Georgia. Absolutely rotten placement of my camera today. So sorry, but welcome, welcome. It's a beautiful Saturday. I'm going to keep moving this table. I'm not sure what's happened. I think the linen has shrunk in the heat of this apartment, and it's just not covering the screen anymore. And excuse me, my ears are itchy again. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Tonight we are going to talk about all the pages and all the nights. I figured there's only 4 of them, and we could probably move through them pretty quickly. When I was organizing the last month, so this May 2021 is the last month of my airing on YouTube, and I'm terribly excited because in the next 2 weeks we'll be done with the pages, the knights, the queens, and the kings, and then we'll have 2 weeks where we'll be able to do, hey Jennifer, how are you? It's so nice to see you. We've got mum schedules, don't we? And we haven't quite sort of met in the middle anywhere. It was so nice to see you. And so happy you're here. So we have 3. So we have until the 29th. Let me just double check. We've got today's the 2nd. So we've got tonight 1, 2, 3, 4. So there are 5 Saturdays in this month. So we've actually got until the 29th, which is the last night show. And I'm kind of organizing something really fun and special for that Saturday night. Until that night, we've got 4 Saturdays. So 2 of those Saturdays, meaning this one and the next one, we'll be doing the knights, the pages, the queens and the kings. And then the other 2 Saturdays, I thought we could kind of, hi, Ellie, how's it going? Hi, Charlie girl. Nice to see you all. Thank you so much for hanging out. I thought maybe I could take some, let me know what you'd like to see. This is what I'm throwing up in the air. Maybe what we could do is talk about how to read tarot decks that are not the one that we've been learning, right? So I teach because this is how I learned. I learned to read the traditional Rider-Waite-Smith, and this is the Smith-Waite, which celebrates our Pamela Coleman Smith, the illustrator of the deck. But essentially the images are the same as the original Waite-Smith. Rider-Waite-Smith. And, that's what we've been learning from, these particular images, and we've come to know them pretty well. I'm sure we've pretty much, read from every card, but we'll be reviewing the pages and the knights tonight. And I thought maybe the 2 weeks that are sort of toward the end of the month before the last show, we could I could have some guests on. Maybe you'd like that. We've had some great times with some wonderful guests, or I'm trying to find some of my other decks, but this is the only one I have around. So this is a fairly recent deck by a woman called MJ Cullinane, who's famous for the Crow Tarot. And this is her kind of cat tarot equivalent. She's called it the Grimalkin Tarot. And in this deck, she has lots of crows, which is what attracted me to the deck in the first place. But I also love cats, as you all know. And in this deck, you'll see lots of cats, lots of birds. These cards are quite beautiful. And so I thought maybe that, one of those 2 weeks we could talk about how to read decks that are not Rider-Waite-Smith. They're somewhat related to the Rider-Waite-Smith in that they keep the pips or these minor arcana, the 1 to 10s, illustrated with images and with figures. Here, cats, but in other decks, if it's a mermaid deck, there are mermaids in the pictures. Lots of cats in this one. So what's this one? This is called Unity. This particular author has, so here is the full card. They've added in a few extra of the major arcana, which is great. So when you do your own take as an author, illustrator, you can do whatever you want, really. And these cards are so beautifully illustrated. I really love them. So we might be able to review some decks. Who knows? If anybody has any requests, we could do that. I've missed you too, Jen. I know. What have you been doing? Have you been stuck in homeschooling, Zoom schooling? What's it like in California? I know here in New York, the young ones have gone back to full time in the public schools anyway. They're all full time, which is wonderful. So it's been a very long time coming. I'm shuffling here. Let's pick a card for the night. 100% of the proceeds tonight, if you decide to pay for a tarot reading, $10 per question, usually more. You usually get more than one question. We often find that one question leads to another, and we have, 5 or 10 minutes for each question. Unless there's lots of people, then I'll keep it to 5 minutes. So the card for the night. Oh, Jen says, I'm back at work. Kids are back full-time here too. Oh, that's great. Oh, Ali, you've made a donation. Oh, wonderful. I'm going to put you down here. You are going to get such a great blessing from Creacon. I'm so happy for you. Here we go. I'm ready for you. I'm going to choose one for the night. Ooh, the Wheel of Fortune. Wonderful. What stands out to you all here? I'm going to let you read this one for me. So here we have these major archetypes. We have these spirit guides who are around this central wheel, right? And you have the Anubis, who's the guardian of the underworld or the other world, so that when one dies, the first being they meet is Anubis. Well, in Christian folklore, what you have is the first person meets is Saint Peter, right? Oh, Jen, you did. That's so wonderful. Thank you, everybody. So, Jennifer, you know that 100% of the proceeds go to Friends of Creacon. This is Creacon Wellness Retreat Centre in Ireland, and they have a program where people who send money in through the Friends of Creacon program are sent back an energetic remote sort of energy transfer. And so I'll be putting down everyone's name who's bought a reading with me tonight, and not only will I be sending the proceeds, but we'll be making sure that everybody's name is in it, so it's like a group blessing and everyone will feel that. So that's really good. Ali says, I love animals, they need to be respected. Oh, absolutely. And so here we are with the phoenix or the eagle, the angel, the lion for courage, and the ox or the the cow for groundedness, a sense of stability, quite sturdiness. That these two are very grounding in their guidance. Even though they're in clouds with their sacred books with all the laws written in there, so we know that we can tap into them for knowledge when we're moving around this circle. And I've talked about this before, that you have Tora, meaning Torah, or rota, which is a rotation. This is the wheel that rotates. It's a bit like the Wheel of Fortune, the game. What number are you going to land on? Is there a randomness to it, or do we have the capacity to, is it fate and destiny, or is it that we create that which we're landing? Is there a sense of, we've created that which is in front of us, and as we move forward, we continue to create that which is about to meet us, right? And if we take a view on life that is one of, I am in the position of being able to influence that which arrives at my door, or at least react in a way which is going to create well-being for myself and for others, then, we feel like we're on top of things. You don't have to be in control of things, but you definitely feel like you're not going in under the big pile of stuff that often arrives at your door, right? And so there's a sense of being able to step back and have a look at what's going on in your life. And I think when the Wheel of Fortune turns up, that's what you're meant to do. You're meant to sort of step back. What am I doing? What am I creating? Am I going up the wheel into an enlightened state of being, or am I going down the wheel into kind of the low-level energies? Am I being unconscious? Am I not thinking about, my programs? How am I putting myself into a state that I don't enjoy? So here, this wheel is all about, this Wheel of Fortune is all about, I feel, how do I take control of my life? How do I see myself in the world? Am I going to be a victim to the world, doing things to me and all these events that happen in my life? Am I going to be a victim to that? Or am I going to say, hey, I probably had a hand in creating some of these events. How I move forward from this point is going to determine how it all turns out for me, or at least in this very moment, how I feel about me and this particular situation that's happening to me, right? So the best way for us to be is to kind of greet everything with, hello and welcome. Sometimes it's very hard to do that, especially when we have programs of easy to fall into drama. Anyway, I'll stop waffling. Made a donation, having a general reading, Jen. Wonderful. Ali, do you have a question? Do you have a particular specific question? Give it to me. I'm shuffling the cards for you because you donated first. And Charlie's here. Wonderful. Let me know what your question is. I'm shuffling away. Very excited to be reading. Super. I hope some people here, there are some people here who have their own decks. Feel free to, once we get so Ali says, in my next serious relationship, how will my boyfriend be like? I love your emoji. So in my next serious relationship. So are you in a relationship now? And are you in a relationship that feels serious? In your next serious relationship, how will my boyfriend be like? Hi, how are you, MBM? Nice to see you. Love the butterflies. Okay, let's have a look at this next serious relationship. Let's see if we can tap into this relationship that's coming to you. And let's have a look at the boyfriend that will be. What will he manifest? What will he be like? So we're asking very specific questions about what he'll look like, what's his character like. So let's put one down for in the next serious relationship that you're going to have, Ali. What's your boyfriend going to be like? What's he going to look like? What's his character going to be like? What will he do for a career? Shall we see if that's one? So we can pull 3 or 4 cards just around that. So make it interesting. And I love the affirmation of there is one, there's a relationship, it's coming, it's here, and there will be a boyfriend. In fact, we're manifesting him right now, right? Together. Okay, what will he be like? This is his physicality. What will his character be like? What will did we say career? What will his, career, what was character? How about his relationship with his family? Okay, so interestingly, what will he look like? Now, I've never quite asked a tarot card to give me a physical appearance. So we know it's a boy because we said boyfriend, right? So, we've got a woman here. Now, what does this say? That he'll be more effeminate than, more feminine than masculine? I don't think so. I feel what this is telling me is that in his physicality, he'll be very comfortable with what he looks like. So I get a feeling of a very casual guy that likes to dress down, not necessarily always be so, fully, likes to be comfortable. And I keep thinking of who's that comedian that always wears like sweats and things, t-shirts and sweats, and even dresses up in t-shirts and sweats at the most, formal of occasions, like the Oscars or something. Anyway, he's one of the comedians. I've forgotten his name, but I get the feeling that he'll be really comfortable in his own skin and that he doesn't have to sort of dress to keep other people happy, to keep other people, or won't sort of need to. I also get his very strong guidance. There's something about his connection, which he may not necessarily talk about, but there'll be a very strong connection. So I see this top part. It feels very strong to me and very light, very connected to the light. Having a look at how his character is, look at this wonderful Page of Pentacles. So we're going to be talking about the pages. Now, remember, Pentacles is all about, isn't it beautiful? So here is someone who when you look at the page of pentacles, the pentacles is the one who's, very physical, very much in the material, very much, if we were to say he likes to spend money on clothes. So this is interesting because we were talking about someone who dresses down, but still maybe he's buying those, expensive T-shirts, expensive shorts. You can still spend a lot of money on looking good, right? So here he is looking good, feeling good in his clothes, but also this sense of reverence. So this feeling that I get here is that he's quite respectful, and and also when I see him in nature, this sense of being connected to nature. And I do get a sense of a spiritual nature around him too. See this mountain and these, I keep getting hits of this is he has a strong sort of connection, which he may or may not talk to you about or talk to others about, but I think it's very strong. And he's not prone to kind of just going off and doing things in a rash way. The Pentacles group of court cards tend to be more grounded, tend to be more solid in their decision making, or maybe take a longer time to make their decisions. They don't rush into things. They like to savor. If you think of the Queen of Pentacles sitting there with the pentacles on her lap, she's taking her time. There's a sense of slowness about them. So it's interesting when we talk about character and the Page of Pentacles, it's also young at heart, right? Because the pages are young. So here you have someone now who is comfortable in their own skin, is kind of slowed down in terms of a pace. And they also have, a sense of fairly good integrity. You can't really push one of the suit cards. You can't push these guys over. If you think of the King, the King of Pentacles, he's almost disappearing into the concrete structure with all of the abundance. You wouldn't be able to find him to push him over. These are very solid, grounded people. So that's what I get. Very grounded, very casual, very easygoing, and this idea of, yes, I like to make sure that I like my clothes, and I like to wear certain clothes and maybe branded clothes. Likes to earn money. This is interesting. We asked about career, didn't we? So this is the third card. What's his career going to be like? So we have the Hierophant. So here we have somebody who's in a position of power. So he may be a leader, right? He may lead a team. This is the traditional card for a teacher. He could very well be a teacher, but leaders usually, for example, someone who's managing a team at work, they're often teaching as they're working at the same time, right? Because the people who are working with him are listening to what he has to say, what experience he has, and going along with that and learning the trade, so to speak. Now, it may not be a trade, but there's a sense that he leads other people, right? This could be his own business. He may have his own business where there are people working under him, that he has employees. So it feels like he definitely has a career, one that's fairly, already set in place, in motion. And that's good news, isn't it? There's a job. He has keys, key to a car, key to a home. This is good to have a very sort of solid, stable. He sounds confident, says Ali. Yeah, right? Someone who's happy in their own skin, isn't a pushover. They're usually quite confident to just be themselves. They're not, someone's not going to come up to them and say, hey, you look like, you look terrible today. And they're not going to crumble at that. So this is good. This is like a sense of someone who's quite strong. And even in work, where there's a structure, other people are looking toward him for either, to model themselves on him, or that he gives the orders if he's the boss, so to speak, or there's a hierarchy, but he's at a level where he's teaching others. Now, his relationship with his family, you're going to laugh at this, the Moon card. So, you can't get all the ticks right. So there may be something going on between him and his family where, Either they're not talking or they're all kind of grumbling about one another. But hey, Kimberly, hello. It's so good to see you. Kimberly, I'm going to put you to work. Kimberly's going to run away. I hope I can. Kimberly's an amazing tarot reader. You must get a reading from Kimberly. And I know you're on Instagram. I don't know if you're putting it out there. I'm putting it out there for you. Kimberly went through my online tarot reading course in 2018 and also last year in November. So she's a seasoned tarot reader, has a very, very deep connection with her intuition. And I wish I could bring her on the show just so you could all see. Maybe in the next couple of weeks, Kimberly, what do you think? If you're up to it. After we've done all the court cards, which will be the end of next week, so the week after, in 2 weeks, maybe you could come on. So Ali's laughing at the fact that he got the moon card with his family. So, all of those big holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, there's probably always a little bit of drama there. But let's see what that has to do with. So, there's some suspension. I just chose another card. I mean, look at this. He's got, in terms of his relationship with his family, and interestingly, the man that you have a serious relationship with has already got 4 major arcana cards. So he's turning up with quite a lot of, he's moving through, and has moved through. So it feels like he'll be a more mature person as opposed to, this card, which indicates youth. I think he'll be a mature person who's young at heart, so to speak, right? So he'll be a little older. And here we have someone who's suspended in their relationship with their family. There's stuff going on, right? There's stuff that they've just put to rest. They don't deal with that stuff anymore. They're old enough to understand that you just don't want to get your buttons pushed by your family. And will that be an issue for you? And he... Well, not one for you. I think it'll just be something where he'll keep them away from you. He'll try to keep all the drama down, right? He'll kind of beat these sticks down. Here's what this card's saying, right? And we're just reading the cards. We're reading the story, which is quite wonderful to be able to do. Are we tapping in? Are we tapping in? What if I was to pick a card and say, oh, what does he look and feel like? I'm going to put all these cards together, right? And I'm going to put them in a sandwich. So these are all these cards that we chose. And this is, he sounds independent. Yeah, that's right. As an overall arching, someone who's independent, has a fairly stable job, or at least a stable connection in their job, is kind of leading the way. Others are following. And so I'm going to sandwich it. And this is what I do to tap into the cards, tap into my intuition, and see if we can get some more information about the your next serious relationship. So what I'm seeing, it's interesting. It's a symbol that's related to you, not to him. And I'm seeing a sense of the circular, right? So in the relationships that you have had, that there's been a certain pattern, right? This is what it feels like. And it would be interesting, and if we were in a one-on-one, I would ask you, what has that pattern been like? What has there, has it been a pattern of something that you have felt, or is it something in the man that you have attracted, or the kind of men that have come into your life? So that's one thing, because I see this circular motion. She says, oh, that's a surprise face, right? So Spirit's showing me this because it must have some relevance, right? Now, when we look at inviting somebody new into our lives, what we want is presumably, let's say we've had experiences in past relationships that we don't want to repeat. We don't want the circle. We don't want to have the repeat relationship, right? So how would you not have the repeat relationship? How could that happen, right? It has to start from within you. It has to be that your vibration, your vibration changes. Now, how are you going to change your vibration? Well, you change your vibration with the thoughts that you have, with the feelings that you engage in, with the, with the way that you express yourself. Even, so dreams are very important. I wanted to have this here, and I wonder if I do. Part of, as you all know, 100% of the proceeds is going to Creacon retreat. Hang on, is this the one? This is the one. So Creacon Wellness Retreat has a program called the Creacon Manifestation Program, CMP. And the reason I'm bringing it up is because I just spoke about dreams, and the last package that they sent out. So Creacon puts together a little gift package. There'll be like a little book. There's some incense. There may be some essential oils. There might be something physical that comes literally from Ireland, from Creacon, the retreat center. There might be there was a stick in one of them. There's sometimes some tea, some Himalayan tea. And the latest one, or the last one that was sent around was the dreams one, right? So you can sign up for this program and get a package every 2 months, and it's attached to a program where you can connect in with teachers, and they do a class. There are 2 classes, one a month, and you can plug in, and there's guided meditations, and it's really quite wonderful. The energy is amazing. Now the packages, so they'll come in a package like this. They're not always the same, right? So this is the dream package. I'm just going to talk about it, right? The power of dreams. So in this package, we have wonderful lavender that's homegrown in Creacon. Look at that, right? And you can put this, smells amazing. Put this in under your pillow so that you get quite calm and dream happy dreams. Here's a coaster. Follow your dreams, right? Follow your dreams. They know the way. There's a dreaming journal. Dream big, right? Beautiful, that you get to draw in. There's a Derek O'Neill, right? Authored this book called Dreams, and you basically get the whole book, which is worth quite a bit. So you can get those on Amazon and Kindle. You can get the Kindle. I mean, it just goes on. The trinkets are beautiful. So here, and everything has a very rich, deep meaning according to the theme of the particular month. So this is the Creacon Manifestation Program. And if I remember, and I will put the link in the bottom. So it comes with a letter that explains everything. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to give away one of these packages on the last night that we have, May 29. Right, here it is, Creacon Manifestation Program. You get all the information. So everything that's in your special bag gets explained to you, and what you can do with them. And look at this. You even get a special pillow. It's wonderful. Now, I'm taking the time to do this because I think it's important. So in your dreams, Ali, it's important. Sometimes look at this, the incense. Can you see that? On my face here. Incense. Oh, smells amazing. And even a special pillow that comes directly from Creacon. Look at that. A pillow. I love this. So this was my special package, and I'll be giving one of these away May 29th. Is that not fantastic? I'm so excited. Super excited. This will be a special, special thing. Once you get it, there's like a beautiful energy that comes through. And maybe what we'll do is a bit of bibliomancy. Ali, can you give me a number from 1 to 40? I'm going to pick a page for you, and we're going to read it. Because for some reason, I needed to bring that out and talk about it just for you. 30. Here we go. Special little package that gets delivered. You can also buy them one-off. So that if you don't want to be part of the program, which gets, and I think the program is like €46, which is around 50 US. Page 30. Here we go. Change and transition. So here we go. Someone who had a dream about pine cones. Pine cones are very interesting because across many religions and cultures, they're associated with the symbol of the third eye, which represents a spiritual element that you have but is looking to be developed. Ali, I'm sure you have this. In the fact that the red shows me the topic change is hot. So somebody was describing their dream and I think they saw a pine cone. But I think this part is relevant to you. So the person, this is a script of an exchange between Derek and a man named Joe. And Joe says, well, I have on page 30, well, I have the opportunity to change careers or perhaps add work to what I already do. So Derek says, the red pine cone means that there is a big spiritual quest coming your way. Your path is going to become even more exciting than it already is because this is coming from your dream world and manifesting in your waking life. Take a couple of deep breaths and sit with your thoughts. The world is your pine cone. Enjoy it. So, Ali, the world is your pine cone. Enjoy it. And with respects to this next serious relationship that's coming and that circular circle that I saw, how are you going to avoid creating the same relationship experience? Let's ask the cards that, shall we? You're not going to have the same experience. You see this wreath up here, you've learned the lessons. And what you needed to learn in that past relationship has already been learned, and the learning has been sealed and delivered. And so you're ready to have an absolutely fresh start. So that this relationship, and I hope that as we were describing this gentleman, he was sounding very different to what you've had, right? Someone who's fairly grounded, stable, independent, right? And so here we have validation that it's not going to be another repeat, right? There may be a fear of repeat. And it's worth looking at your dreams. And what you want to do is putting in that program of, success. Maybe pull out the 6 of Wands out of your deck and put it up on the fridge and say, I will succeed. I will have this relationship that's, very new and nothing to do with all the old ones. I've learnt my lessons. I've improved my self-esteem. I've grounded myself. I'm not engaging in any of the old patterns that, created any kind of drama, and off you go. So we wish you the best, Ali, in this wonderful new relationship that's coming your way. And thank you so much for paying for your reading. That 100% of the proceeds is going to Friends of Creacon. And Jennifer is right here. Jennifer, did you want a general reading? Can I have a general reading? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Also, give me a number and I'll pick out something from the Dreams book. So this is for Jennifer. Jennifer, I hope you're listening. Page 5. Well, let's do that first, right? 5. Oh, we have the benefit of many, many years of dream study and tradition across a wide range of thought and belief systems. The symbolism that appears in dreams is not random, but rather based on the way our subconscious manifests our emotions and thinking. That's interesting, right? There will be some differences in the exact interpretation of any particular symbol. And I personally find that when I go to dream journals or books that have been written about specific dream interpretation, I never quite feel like what I'm reading is personal, that it's specific to me. And I think here, the subconscious is manifesting our emotions and our thoughts in the dream state. So what we need to take out of the dream state is, what emotions am I feeling and what thoughts am I having, and how do they relate to my conscious day-to-day stuff? And is this really something I should be looking at? There will be some differences, right? There is a cohesive and broad similarity in the idea that dreams pack their interpretation in metaphors and associations. Yeah, we know that, right? An important point to understand as you dive into dream interpretation is that a nightmare is not very different from a pleasant dream. This is interesting. Both are providing information that your subconscious is grappling with. What may appear as a straightforward fear or something in a dream will often reveal much more complicated dynamics. A nightmare may even reflect certain positive emotions and experience that we sometimes mistakenly call bad dreams. You may be wondering how a nightmare about being attacked by a shark or falling down a hole could be a good message. If you look closely if you look closely and realize that within the nightmare, there may be a very productive working out of feelings or emotions. Its purpose becomes clear. That's very true, right? That we often find ways of making ourselves safe, right? Or even sometimes coming out of the dream is a way of providing safety, right? Positive outcomes can be cultivated by having a nightmare. Fascinating. I've never thought about nightmares in that way. So I thought I've had this book for a long time, and I clearly, it's good to read some books over and over again, and you just comb through and get more information each time. But I hope that feels relevant, Jennifer. Awesome. All right. This is your general reading. I'm going to do the center of the Celtic cross, which is let me put your name here, Hernandez, which I did this last week, and I felt that it worked quite well. You'll laugh, Jennifer. We took the children to Adventureland today, which is where my first post was on Instagram. I posted the big gorilla with the Adventureland on it. So it's in Long Island, and it's basically a big fair with kiddie rides and, candy canes and, candy everywhere. And, those sort of shoot the water at the Target and, get your soft plushy toy. It was really fun. So the kids had a lot of fun. I was exhausted, but, we do this to make sure that the kids are having a lot of fun, and that was definitely happening. And I there were other mums who were sitting down looking very exhausted on seats. We did have fun. But I think the mums were exhausted and the dads were exhausted. But the kids were like having a ball. It was really fun. I mean, I haven't been on these kind of rides in years. And for a few of them, I had to go on with the kids. And it was like now my sort of 51-year-old body getting sort of thrown about, or they're in the Dodgem cars getting these jolts. It's just my body doesn't want to do it anymore. It's like, hang on, I really probably shouldn't have gone on that Dodgem ride. I'm going to have to nurse this back pain for a little bit. Anyway, back to your, but all the mums were nodding at each other. It was very fun. Yeah, we had fun. Here we go. So, yeah, the kids are there were rides for little kids and big kids, and we kind of did them all. So the center of the Celtic cross is a single card that represents you, a card that kind of you and what you're facing at the moment, right? So there's often like not an issue, but it's like what's going on for you right now. And then there's what crosses you, which is what could be a challenge. And then there's something conscious, unconscious, past, and the present is the middle, and then the future is the card after. So we'll take that's 6 cards. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A lot of swords, Jennifer. We've got a lot of swords here. What's on your mind? So if we were sitting here together, I'd be like, okay, there is something on your mind. This is what this card is. The 7 of Swords, which is where you are right now. It's like, there are some things that are set and stable, but I feel like inside your mind, there are thoughts that you have that either you are like, they cause you pain when you think of them. It's like, oh, I got to deal with that thing, and it's just there. And it feels like what's challenging is the truth, so that there's a truth about something or an opportunity that's come your way, which is creating some of this challenge. Now, I don't know if this is like a Linda, hello. You're not late at all. Welcome. So there's something that's turned up that for you that's creating this, I feel. And if you're not relating to this, please let me know, because I'm going to talk about it a little bit. I want to see if we can tease some of this out, right? What news has arrived? What is it that's created some of this, right? Which is like, oh, I don't want to think about it. Or these thoughts are creating a bit of pain. So the Wheel of Fortune has turned up, and that's interesting because we pulled that card as our card of the night. And we talked about the Wheel of Fortune being, something where we're thinking about, we're taking a step back from our life saying, hey, what's going on? What's going on here? Let's kind of put things in perspective. Let's see ourselves from the, from the higher point of view, or the observer's point of view, because when we're in it, it's very hard to see ourselves. So you're kind of being asked to look at whatever's going on for yourself from an observer's point of view. And that would mean like, well, what would somebody else think of what's going on, right? Excuse me. So in your mind, we have a person walking away from a way of emotion. So what you've been thinking about, and it's interesting. If you were here, I would say, hey, what's going on? Because I can't quite pin it. All I've got is that there's a lot of thinking around it. And here in your mind, your emotions have left. There's been a leaving. So either someone leaving, or you having left your emotions about whatever's going on, or you wanting to kind of not think. See, these kind of go together, these two cards, even though they're different numbers. I feel that these two cards, because when you're holding the swords, or when the thoughts are like that, you just want to let them go. Myself, is it related to work or making healthier choices for myself? So let's have a look at that. I mean, I would ask you, could it be? Do you relate to these, to having some thoughts, or are there thoughts, that are stressing you out? If I was to use the right word, right? Because this is what this card is saying. This card is telling me there are thoughts that are stressing you out, right? And I would say, which thoughts are they? I would want to jump in and say, okay, what's stressing you out? Let's just line them up. Let's get some clarity here. Does that make sense, Jennifer? Vivian, hello. Good to see you too. So are you feeling stressed? That would be my first thought, because that's what this. So then, right. And it feels like there's one particular thing that's created the part of this stress, one particular kind of thought, or one particular event, right? Or surrounding one sort of area of your life that's created all of these. It's like, okay, from one thought leads to another, leads to another, leads to another. So how can I be helpful here, right? That's my thought. So if we were together in a personal session, and actually we should have our personal session. So I owe Jennifer a mini reading, don't I? So we should definitely clear our schedule and make sure it happens. I've been trying to get another mum to do the same thing. And because we're so busy and we're often easily distracted, and it's probably more my fault than hers, that we just missed the appointment. And I've missed it maybe 4 times now. And I just don't know what else to say. I keep saying sorry, but it either happens or it doesn't, right? But I'm hoping that it will happen. But let's make it happen. Jennifer, yeah. So what I would like to do is I'd like to tease them out. I'd like to say, well, what is the stress, and how can we gain some clarity around it and move the emotion away? Because that's what you want to do, right? You want to move away from the emotion of the stress. Okay. And what we have is that you've come out of really quite a healing period. So here I would say that in the past 3 months or even more, you have spent time just balancing your life out, right? Finding that balance, finding emotional balance, finding some time for yourself, right? Finding some time to be able to balance everything. And this is really quite a beautiful card. And where you're moving into, if I can say, is also really beautiful. So what's the good news is all of this is going to be replaced by this. And this means that your subconscious is working very hard and this is what's in the subconscious. You're going to love this, right? You're just going to stop. So this card and this card will come one after another. This is number 7. This is number 8. Now, what happens is we've got these thoughts. We don't want them. They're too stressful. So then we just stop thinking about them. We just shut off from them, right? That's one way of dealing with it. You know what? I'm just not even going to think about it. I'm not going to spend any time worrying about these stressful thoughts. You're in the works of balancing things. And it feels like, and this could be if you've just gone back to work, maybe it is about work. This could very well be the thing that's come into that's created more, so you had found a balance, right? And then in comes work, and you're now just trying to balance it out again, because you have to not only, as mums, or I'm sure you're very good at what you do at work and you can hold space at work, but then if you've got your family life that you're also managing and taking care of, plus you've got work life that you're now taking care of, it's like holding two big babies, the one big baby being the family life, even though there's lots of little babies in there, and then the one big work life, which is like a big baby that needs tending and caring to, right? So let's ask, because I do feel you're going to come into a great place. This is coming into the next 3 months, right, of where you're going to find a way to and this is calm, right? This is calm, that sort of inner the inner mind. This is meant to represent the ego and the wild libido, the part of us that just wants to go into reaction. The lion goes from being very, very quiet to like rah, being in attack. And so here, this is a very quiet space. And so I feel like you're definitely going to come into balance, because this was the past and this is the future. So you're going to find your way again. Why don't we ask how? Wouldn't that be helpful if we said, well, how? Oops. Another major arcana. This one just keeps flying out of my hand with the Judgment card, right? So you are going to spend some time connecting with your guidance. And it's also a very cool card, right? And so this one is also a very cool card, even though the colors are warm. There's the green, there's the white of her dress. So this card is going to take you from here, right? I'm crisscrossing my hands, but we're just going from here to here. And it's this one, the Judgment card. Why? What does judgment mean? Judgment as a word in the Bible was the second coming of Christ, right? The horn is sounded. If you've been doing bad things your whole life, you're going to go to hell. If you've been doing good things, you're going to go straight into heaven. And but what this really means is that there's a liberation, right? So you need to liberate yourself from the things that are tying you down. I.e., let's say you have a very high standard of working. You might need to bring that down a little and just say, well, at the moment I'm juggling two things. Excuse me. And so here comes this the throat chakra and self-love and compassion, right, that comes in the throat. And it's interesting because self-judgment can come around in the throat too, which explains why it's something that I'm also working on, aren't we all, on some level, to how to be kinder to ourselves. So the way to go from here, right, to here, which is a very, very peaceful state, very empowered state. And this is self-empowerment, because we're able to calm the wild one within, because we find connection to spirit, right? How do we find connection to spirit? It's creating that quiet time for ourselves where we can do what we said earlier, which is to step back and get a greater perspective. Do I need to put pressure on myself to do really, really amazing at work? Well, just for the moment, I can lay off that. I don't have to go gung-ho at work, because I want to give myself a bit of a break. And maybe I'll take the opportunity to shine and show my bosses how great I am at another date. Can I go easy on myself for a little bit? And Jennifer says, I will be on summer vacation during that time. Is that during in the next 3 months? That's fantastic. Okay. So I think I'm getting your comment a little too late, but if that's what this means and that's what this indicates, and this could potentially, right. So yeah, I mean, definitely it will happen, obviously, it will evolve simply because you're physically in another place, but I do feel like there's an emotional part that is connected to it. You see, this is a rest from thinking and putting some of those swords down so that they're not hurting you. So this guy would be less stressed if he just put the swords down. He doesn't need to hold them because these are thoughts that are, probably hurting his hands, right? There's a symbol there. So do we need to hold some thoughts? And that's what the tarot is, suggesting that you do. And this is more just helping you find a way to reduce the load, right, inside your mind. And here, this is one of very quiet contemplation, meditation. And I love this card because it really speaks to the capacity for, the ego to just really go to sleep. And that's what happens when, certainly happens when we die, right? Happens when we're in a coma, happens when we're asleep. In many ways, the subconscious is working and part of the ego is in that, but not really. We're kind of out of control. We're not really although we are sort of heroes and leaping off tall buildings, doing all sorts of strange things. Hi, G. How are you? Good to see you. So here's the strength card. So it's looking really good. I've got to tell you, you're moving into a really, really great place. If you're not already there, you're definitely moving, into it. And I felt like it's blending in, right? Because your conscious thought is, which one was your conscious thought is, I just don't want to carry all this, stuff anymore. I'm moving away from it. I'm not even going to engage in it. Not going to engage in the emotions that the thoughts create. And so if we were to do one more, thank you, yay, thank you for you, thank you. And we will get together. In fact, I'll message you, but I'm good between, as I've told most people who know and are organizing appointments with me, I'm good between 11 a.m. EST, EDT, and 2:30, 3 p.m., so we could do a half hour anytime in those times. Just let me know which day. Although if you're at work, that probably won't work, right? Are you working from home? So let me know. And if you're I think you said you were physically at work. Back to work. Are you back to work physically? That's a question. On Wednesdays. So on Wednesdays you're at home. So then let's do it. My Wednesdays are pretty free. I don't have anything else scheduled on that day. And so one more for Jennifer. Are you working creatively with others? What's happening? You're at home on Wednesdays. Perfectly. So look, I'll text you and we'll organize something for this Wednesday. Here is a card that I just pulled out, and this is a card that feeds you, working creatively with others, and maybe even on a project that is outside of work, because yes, this could be about work, and yes, this is something that you're already doing, but I feel this is about creativity and about you and your soul. It's, what can we do that feeds us, right? Sure. Ali says, can I ask another question? Sure. We're here. We're, very soon we'll be talking about the pages and the nights. Why not? I'll start to pull them out. Ask away, Ali. Here we go. The knights. Oh, the knights are so much fun. On their horses, thinking they're doing something wonderful. Now, remember, when you're studying the tarot, the knights and the pages and the kings and the queens, there's one for each suit. So there'll be a knight of wands, there'll be a page of wands, a knight of wands, a queen of wands, and a king of wands, right? So the queens, we're getting the pages out, the knights are out, the page, all the pages are together. Wonderful. Working on that throat chakra, communication, self-expression. I need one more. Oh, do I have? I do. I'm actually missing the Page of Cups. Just going to find them. There he is, the Page of Cups. So, Ali, I'm going to use the Creacon Tarot for you. So here's a little treat. We're just going to use another card to answer the question. And because I'm not, and this is something that if you've learnt tarot with me, you'll know that when you're working with a deck that is not the one that you've sort of, learnt all the symbolism and gone into depth, you tend to move into your intuitive feel of the card and then just read the colors and the imagery without going into the hardcore symbolism, right? There's a freedom that comes in reading the cards, but what you get when you learn how to read the traditional tarot is you get a huge database on the meaning of the symbols, like the wands of fire, and then suddenly you can talk about fire and how their action, and you think of the fire signs in astrology and you can talk about them and the go-getters and sort of very successful sort of ventures happening with the wands, because you need fire to get and passion to get stuff going. So, Ali, I'm going to use the Creacon Tarot to answer your question. Let's do that. Let's do you first, but because what I've done is I've pulled all the pages and the knights out of my deck, and I don't want you to miss out on getting one. So here we go. This is the Creacon Tarot by MJ Cullinane. Did come with a guidebook, but I'm not going to go by the guidebook. I'm just going to go by my intuition. Her deck is based on the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, so there are 22, or actually she has a few more, 23 major arcana and 56 minor arcana. And these cards are a little bigger than the regular Rider-Waite, right? Here's the Rider-Waite, just a little bigger. These are 2.75 by 4.75, and these are 3 by 5. And I'm learning all of this because I'm creating my own deck and looking at different cards. So Ali has a question. Okay, just did. My question is, lately I feel disconnected from people. Is there something wrong with me, or am I not noticing something? On one level, this is a global level, this is a collective level. We've spent the last 12 months at least distancing ourselves, right? We've spent a lot of time in kind of hibernation, in lockdown, away from people, seeing people's like, oh, do you want to be hugged? Should I hug you? Hello, are you okay with kind of, me coming in close? MBM, sure, absolutely. There's time to get a reading. I'll be on until 7:30, and we've got 25 minutes. And I do want to talk about the pages and the knights, but we'll definitely I'm so happy to remember what we're donating to Friends of Creacon. 100% of the proceeds goes to Creacon Wellness Retreat. The link is in the description if you want to find out more about the Friends of Creacon program. And I do encourage you to do that. And also to have a look at their Creacon Manifestation program, because remember, I'll be giving one of these packages away on May 29th. Very excited to be doing that. So there are two questions in this, right? Lately, I feel disconnected from people. So the first question is, why am I feeling disconnected from people? And your next question is it me or is it something else, right? So that's kind of three questions in one. So let's do that. Why am I feeling disconnected from people? So I just went on a little kind of tangent about how we're all a bit disconnected, really, because we've been forced to be disconnected by COVID and the pandemic. And so that there's an electricity or an electrical vibration of this kind of in the air, right? We're not gathering as often as we used to. We're not socializing in the same ways as we used to. And even when we're socializing, we're doing it very, very differently. So there's like a new program out there which is affecting everybody, right? But let's go into this personal feeling that you're feeling, right? Because there's something else in it for you. So there's one, the collective, and this is the personal now that we're looking at. So it's the Two of Pentacles, and this cat is playing with two mice, but she's not really looking at the mice. Now, it's a he or a she cat. We don't really know. And there's two little mice there. And if you have a look at where the cat's looking, it's not at the mice. You know, the mice are down here, and they're sort of in a yin and yang kind of pose, or not quite, but in a way. I have seen that symbolized in the Two of Pentacles in other decks. And you know that in the traditional Rider-Waite deck, we have the figure kind of balancing two, and there being a lemniscate between them, right? So it's all about balance. Now, for this particular card, let me just get a feel for it, right? We ask the question, why am I feeling disconnected? So there has been some change in your, in your sphere of the people around you. So there have been some relationships that have dropped off. And I would say you could say that about 2 or 3 people, that, you just don't relate with them in the same way that you used to before. And, what happens sometimes is, if you've been working on yourself and your vibration is rising, or just sometimes you just don't plug into the same conversations that you used to, or people just fall by the wayside because you're not relating in the same way that you used to. So I get that feeling there, and I get that from the poppies, these poppies in this corner, and they're kind of right here on the ground. And that's why I was thinking that that's part of your foundation has changed, because some people have, who you used to have a lot of contact with, you don't anymore. Oh, wonderful. No, wonderful, Mary. So yes, I'll come to you right next. And the other, if I can say, I'm also a little, look at this. There's something, this kind of padding of flowers that these mice are sitting on, or kind of connected to, feels to me like coral or something very fragile. And, so there's a fragility there, either in you, and we did say, we did ask the question, like, why are you feeling this way, right? That there may be a fragility in you that's creating this sense of distance. So let's ask, what is that? Is it you? And what is it in you, right? Oh, Vivian, did you donate too? You sent it under a different name. No trouble, no trouble. So we've got, I just want to make sure I get everyone now. And Vivian, we may not be able to do the Knights and Pages. I want to give everyone my time. I want to make sure everybody gets their questions answered. So I'm getting a feel here that there is some fragility there. So let's have a look. Is it you? So the Ace of Cups says yes. Okay. So you have been feeling and thinking differently in your own self, right? Which is why the cup is overflowing and there's change. I do love the sense of the lily. I feel like you're working on yourself in a way that has changed the way that you are. When we start to look at ourselves, some of these onion layers come off, the layers of all the masks that we put up in the way that we sort of interact with people, and you're just not wanting to put that sort of face up anymore. I just see that, you're not acting in the same way that you used to before. And I think, remember we had that circle before, and we were saying, well, this new person that you're going to attract into your life is not like the old ones, because you've successfully been able to drop certain patterns in the way that you've been relating. I believe the same thing's telling us here. You're a little more open, a little more fragile. You're less likely to be around people that, you used to be around, particularly if you felt that you weren't safe with them. And so the last question, am I not noticing something? am I not noticing something? I don't think so. I think you're noticing the right thing. I think you're noticing that the disconnection is coming from you're not relating to, you're not relating to these people anymore because you're not in their vibration anymore. And you're not, sometimes if you feel like you're trying too hard, or if you're feeling like you're putting too much energy into a relationship, then it's not, is this relationship worth keeping? Be this a friend or a colleague or a distant friend or that kind of thing. When you start to open yourself up to the energies and the healing energies, which is what I feel, you have been doing. You see these two white doves or pigeons, right? And they're also up here. You can see there's some divine intervention here. You have a different sense of a disconnection, right, to these mice. Really, the cat should be jumping on them or killing them. But you don't have that here. This cat's not connecting to them in that way. So these friends that have dropped off, or this disconnection that you're feeling, is not a bad thing. I think how you're viewing it, i.e. that feeling disconnected, it's more that you're not vibrating in the same way that you used to. So that you're not pulling in the same relationships, right? And there's a sense of not wanting to hold on to too much drama that used to be there, right? You see this cat reaching up for all these sticks in the tree. Well, you don't need to do that. And I think you've realized that. Now, whether that's a conscious thing or an unconscious thing, it's possibly, given that you're saying, oh, wow, it's possible that it's unconscious. Were you consciously trying to, let go of a particular vibration, or has it just happened naturally for you, right, through circumstances? So let's ask that question. Has it happened naturally? I would say it's happened through, your spiritual connection, because here's the Two of Cups, and here we have the medical caduceus and the lion of courage, the one that has the angel wings, but is often spirit guided. Yeah, look at, there's more of these poppies down here. These seem to be a popular or a favored flower of the author. So I hope that brings some clarity around that. It's not really anything you need to worry about. I don't think there's anything wrong with you, right? The Four of Pentacles. Just hold tight. This is what this card's saying. Just hold tight. Stay grounded and understand that you're kind of creating new ground for yourself. And that these relationships, if they're meant to be, they'll come back, or this sense of connecting with a certain kind of people will come back. But if it's not necessary in your life, it won't. Is this something that you need to worry about? I think we already said no. But when you look at the Ace of Wands, I feel like you can walk confidently forward. I don't think there's no sense of any problems. There's no depression. Here you've got different kinds of birds, right? These look like swallows. They also, there's two kinds of birds. Kimberly might be able to help me. This looks like a swallow. This looks like another bird. They could be woodpeckers. These looks like a little robin. These are the lilies. And this one is walking on the wand. And I just get the feeling, and you look at this beautiful sort of landscape, this cat walking on these hills, coming up to the tree. It looks like the tree of life. So for me, you moving forward in this way is actually a very good way for you to be moving forward, having dropped off connection with people that you don't need to be connecting with. It's not a disconnection within yourself. It's actually a healthy disconnection from a way of being. That no longer serves you. There's the new age of Aquarius is here, and we're bringing down more love, more unconditional love for ourselves. It starts with ourselves, and you're doing a lot of that work, Ali, because I know we've had several readings together over the weeks, and this is the kind of work that you're doing. Keep going. Here's the Two of Wands. Well, you're kind of creating a new world for yourself, and just know that this change is good, right? You don't need to pathologize it or worry about it. You have grown out of them. That's right. That's exactly right. I'm sorry I didn't say it so simply. That's exactly right. Yeah. No, you're not a bad person at all. It's just, we just keep moving forward. So you keep moving forward following your gut feeling, and you go where you feel it's right to be, right? And the people that are in your new vibration will come find you. There'll be new people, right? And new sort of things, exciting things to do. So you don't have to worry about what's gone. You can just look forward to what's coming. And that gets an ace of pentacles. You've had 3 aces so far. I love it when the aces show up. You've had the ace of cups, the ace of wands, and the ace of pentacles. So Ali, I'm going to leave you with that. That's actually really good kind of outcome reading, right? 3 aces. All right, MBM, I think you are next. I better hurry it up if I'm going to talk about the pages and the knights. May not talk about them at all, but I will in the end. Right? So this is for you, MBM. It's Mary, right? Yeah, things with your siblings and family. Oh, you asked me a while back about things with siblings and family. You said there would be movement coming. There was, but I got nervous. Question, is it too late to respond? I'm concerned I created a setback. So let's go. Oh, Mary, good. So you said there would be movement. There was, but I got nervous. Okay. Is it too late to respond? So the question is it too late to respond? Right? And maybe we can tell a story about that. That's so interesting because my throat has just gone. My throat's clearing again, and I feel like, you do need to speak up and communicate, and it's probably not too late, because if the throat needs to open for the health and well-being of yourself, then we have to move forward. We have spirit telling us, yes, this is, the area is here. It's about, that lack of judgment. You can't do it wrong. There's nothing, if you're being kind to yourself and kind to others, there's, sometimes it's kind to speak up and say, hey, that's not okay. Or, hey, there's a boundary here that I'm putting. And that's being kind to yourself. And if you say it in a way that is, I'm speaking as I wish to be spoken to, then nobody can say to you, hey, that's not okay. You're speaking out of line. No, I'm not. I'm not speaking out of line when I speak my truth and I say it in a way that I would wish to have heard it spoken to me in this way. Right? I mean, this is like, and the paralysis comes from fear, the fear of saying something and having somebody scream you down. And that's just our childhood fear that we all have it, right? So let's have a look. Is it too late? Was the question. The Ace of Swords. So I feel the Ace of Swords is representing the truth, and the truth does need to be spoken, right? You have these blackbirds, and I don't know if they're crows. They kind of don't. They look like swallows to me if you look at their tails. And swallows are really beautiful birds. They swoop around in the late afternoon around summer, and you see them, they're very quick flying, and you can imagine a cat trying to catch them, and they kind of twist and turn very quickly. So I feel that I got nervous that the communication from them wasn't positive. It's been a long and difficult estrangement. Right. Okay. So let's have a look at their communication, right? Because what I've got here is validation about what you have to say and how important it is for you, right? Because this sword is going right through this cat, okay? And there appears to be significant change, both transformation, right? Death and birth. So, this is on the precipice of not engaging in ways that you used to before that would create difficulty for you. Okay, and here are these birds up top, which the birds represent messengers. So you're getting spiritual guidance about this. I feel it's very strong. So let's see this validation, right? I got nervous that the communication from them wasn't positive. Was the communication? So let's have a look at them just for a minute. This is them. Interesting, because these cards, the Grimalkin, this is the Page of Swords. Yeah, they are. They're actually ambiguous in the way that they're speaking. So the traditional Page of Swords, which I'll bring up right now, which we can talk about. The traditional Page of Swords is this guy who's kind of walking into saying one thing but meaning another. And so your read on them is correct. Right? So the Page of Swords here in this card is kind of mouth open. When I see this mouth open, it's like, hang on, little kitten, what are you doing? You're going to put a sword in your mouth? So, are these words going to hurt? Right. And you have every right to think what you were thinking. Right? Because you're sensing the communication that's coming to you, and then you're sensing the second communication. You're reading between the lines. You're reading the energy underneath. So your read on them is correct. Is it too late to respond? The 10 of Pentacles. So let's just have a look at what would happen if you responded, right? If you responded now, the 9 of Pentacles. I get a good feeling off this card. I think you'd be quite happy with yourself if you responded in a way where you're laying it, you're just laying it on the floor like, hey, this is what I'm sensing and feeling, and this is my truth. And how much more than you speaking your truth and telling it just as it is, how much more would you expect from yourself than that? Is there going to be any drama around that? Well, you're not causing the drama. You're just speaking your truth, right? And how will you feel if you spoke your truth? The Empress, pretty amazing. When you speak your truth, you are placed in a place of integrity. Now, how will it be received is really, this is interesting. There's cats looking to escape. Look at this cat wanting to jump out the window. The 3 of Pentacles, though, is, to me, it's like it is received because you've got 1 on each bin, and even though the cats are, jumping out the window, you've only got 1. I think there'll be a different responses from different people, but do you have to worry about it, how it's being received? I don't see any concern. When you read it a while ago, you said there would be movement. You were right, and it would eventually move in a better way. And I felt I might have messed up by not responding when they did make a gesture. I don't think so. I see here this, cat moving out the window. I see that there will be movement from one of them. Maybe not this one, and maybe this one that's kind of looking, but you will get a response from one. Yeah. And it doesn't feel like it's too late. I actually think that if you express yourself, it's good for you. How do you benefit in this circumstance? What's in it for you? It's that sense of, am I going to allow myself to be, paralyzed in fear any longer? Do I need to do that? Do I? The Wheel of Fortune. Isn't it time to move on from that? And look at this spiritual guidance that's coming through in this Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, you don't need to relate that way anymore, right? And because you have this strength inside you, you have this solid connection to spirit inside you, you know the truth and you know how to speak the truth in a way that is even. You see? Even if we were to choose cards, let's say we were to choose one of the, you have 3 brothers. So you have one brother that will create movement, right? That's so funny. You can't make it up. Why did the one card with the 3 cats on it arrive, right? And why was one cat sitting still, another one kind of mid-motion, and another one looking out the window, really about to move out the window? So you have that communication. Do they all have to come out Well, that's up to you, right? What do you want to see happen? And does it really matter what happens if once you speak your truth, it's spoken and you've emptied, you've cleared the throat and you've emptied your channel and you're in connection with your source energy. And of course, it's your choice, right? There's no pressure. You make your choices in your life, but there appears to be support for you speaking your truth from spirit. Yeah, here's the Wheel of Fortune again. And, when we create events in our lives that support our speaking our truth or being in integrity with that which we want in our life, want to see more of in our lives, right? Then the Wheel of Fortune cranks in a direction that helps us uplift ourselves. And I feel that, moving in a direction of fear gets you down the wheel. Moving a direction of, the elevation and freedom from fear, it uplifts you. For all of us, not just you, but this Wheel of Fortune came up again, right? There are two birds in this Hamsa, and the third eye, and I think Spirit's directing you. Oh, that's so sweet of you. Thank you so much. You said, no, I know it's crazy. You're so connected when you do this. It's amazing. That's exactly how it would probably be. One will move forward with me. One will go back and forth, and the other just won't. Yeah. And it's true that when I picked the card, and as we were speaking, it just became really clear the cats were moving in a direction, and that's the intuition, right? That's you and me connecting, you and I connecting, and I thinking, wow, those cats are moving somewhere. So spirit or my intuition's moving me to have a look. And this is what you would do if you were reading too. So there's nothing special about me. It's just that I've just done it a lot, right? So that I go with the feeling. I go with the feeling that I get. And sometimes I have to talk myself through it. But I think Spirit's really connecting you, really encouraging you in this one. Did we say Vivian? So, Mary, thank you so much. Thank you so much for donating. I've got you here. And Vivian, if you're around, put your question down. I think you did. Vivian, my question is, I have had to end 2 long-term friendships that I had, one for over 35 years and the other for over 20. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, this is a big grief, right? And I felt very sad. It was becoming toxic. I feel lonely. So what's your question, Vivian? You've had to end these relationships and you feel lonely here. Yeah. And you feel lonely. What would you like just some a message from Spirit about that? Because we could do that. We can do that. Let's have a look at what Spirit wants to say. Long relationships over 35 years, it's a really big deal. And even if it's not necessarily a personal relationship or it's a friendship, it's still, yeah. So we're going to look at a spirit connection. Here we go. This is Vivian. We're looking at what would Spirit, how would Spirit help here? What does Spirit have to say that would be helpful? I'm just going to close my eyes before I pick a card, Vivian. So Spirit is already showing me, because they took up so much time, space, and emotional space, it's easy to keep looking at those 2 relationships. There's a grief process that you want to give yourself some respect around, right? Because there's the part of it that's unresolved is the emotional attachment part. So let's pick a card for how do you help yourself around that emotional attachment, right? Because you've had to detach because it was too toxic. But how do you deal with that loss, that sense of loss? And here's the Ace of Cups, right? So you have an overflowing cup, which is the grief, the loss, right? And let's have a look at these cards, because you have the butterfly, which represents transformation, right on the tip. Yeah. And that's very, very positive. It means that because you've taken this step and you've got this kind of broken heart, really, and it is heartbreaking where you've had to say, well, I just can't do that anymore. I can't. If I keep doing, I'm going in the wrong direction. You knew which direction you had to go and you took it. And here you have, and I would even say that your intuition was very strongly encouraging you to do what you did, because the cat, and the black cat, often represents intuition, and the Queen of Wands has the black cat sitting in front of her, you might remember, even though this is a cups card. So here is a butterfly, and here is the opportunity to understand that what you're going through is transforming you. Yeah. Your decision to disengage from the toxic relationship is transforming your heart, because your heart is saying, I can't do that anymore. I'm now moving toward a place. And so what I was being shown, what Spirit was showing me, is the more you can move your mind away from the again, wow, there's a lot of self I think it's important that you don't give yourself a hard time. Yeah. So that because you were the one that that put an end to the, you moved away from these relationships. Don't give yourself a hard time about it. It had to happen. You were being directed. Your intuition was screaming at you. The spiritual guidance was coming down very thick and strong. And in the traditional Rider-Waite, you have the Holy Spirit coming down into this cup. And then you have this big opening. And so your soul needed to experience this very positive. Yes. Yes, it's hard to be gentle with you. Yeah, go gentle, go gentle. And when you're looking back at those relationships, I think it would be really good for you just to remember the good times, and remember the times of what it was that kept you in the relationship that was good, what you learnt from the relationship. So yes, they were toxic, and yes, you were in there, but you did realize that you didn't need to be in that toxic, you didn't need that toxicity to kind of give you fuel anymore. And there's a huge learning in that. There's it's almost like a massive soul expansion that happens when you say, I'm not going to relate like that anymore. And that's also happened. So see if you can find these gems of what these relationships have given you in terms of your spiritual journey. And that's going to uplift you, because if you look at the relationship from the aspect of, what happened or what you did wrong, or you don't want to go there. You just don't want to go anywhere where you're going to make, this feeling of loneliness even worse, i.e. that, oh, you've done the wrong thing, or you shouldn't have done that, or you shouldn't have said that this way. You're really being asked to just move away from looking at those two relationships to, okay, I'm here now, and I'm going to look forward to the new relationships that come into my life, because my vibration has changed. So as your vibration changes, new people come in to meet that vibration. You may meet somebody that you never would have met if you hadn't left that toxic relationship go, or both of those toxic relationships go. They carry weight and space. And when you let that go, you're in this period of now, right, the transformation stage, where you're going to attract a whole new vibrational relationship experience. And that's something to look forward to, right? There's joy in that. There's anticipation in that. There's I could, because I'm not going to have that toxic relationship anymore. I'm not going to attract that into my life again either, because I know I don't relate to it anymore. I say no to that, right? And what I say yes to, and this might be where you're right here, where you are, is you're in a position now to kind of start to create and give life to that relationship, friends, people in your life that you want to bring in, who are going to feed you, who are going to be like you, right? So here we go. We would say, what's next? Look at that. Look at this quiet, calm cat. So this is the Justice card, but I'm reading this and look at this, so you've done the right thing. Look at this sword of truth. And in the traditional Rider-Waite tarot, this is the Lady Justice, and she's standing there with her sword of truth, and she knows what's happening. She knows the difference between right and wrong, and she's done the right thing. This cat is, quiet and calm and asleep, really. Not asleep, but just patient and waiting, as cats do. And what you have is very even scales. So, the real kind of message is about not giving yourself a hard time about having to let go, not looking at anything in those relationships that makes you feel bad about yourself. You are just ready to move on. And if you every time you ruminate about those relationships, just bring your mind to the future and to the transformation that's happening within you, to the big Ace of Cups and all the divine energy that's flowing through, right? And stay balanced. It's a beautiful Justice card. The cat is at peace. You don't need to worry about them, and you don't need to worry about your actions in the engagement. It's over, and everything is as it should be, and all is well in your world. Abraham Hicks has these wonderful affirmations that are just like, everything is always working out for me. And if I can really believe that, I can bring more of that into my world. I'm okay. I'm all right. I feel good. And in my feeling good, I attract more that makes me feel good. Beautiful, right? And we've got the guitar playing in the background. I love it. I feel you're being supported by spirit very beautifully, because you have the two white birds. Look at these two white birds see that? So I've already given you all a bit of a teaser on how to read the cards without knowing anything about them. I have related these back to the Rider-Waite-Smith, and it is easier to read cards that are based on the Rider-Waite-Smith when you first start to venture out into the land of reading other cards. But let's just say, for example, if we were to give Vivian, my pleasure, Vivian. If we were to give Vivian, I have a set of some I have some cards here. These are called the Elemental. This is an oracle now. These are not tarot cards for the tarot lovers. If I was to choose a card here and now just read this one for you, how differently does that work? These are not based on the tarot. These are just somebody's, own imagination. I pull a card. Look at this. So this is a fire card, but look at this up here. Look at this symbol up here. To me, this looks like the, that symbol in the Pythagoras theorem, or the that sacred symbol. So let me tell you what this reminds me of. This symbol, and there's the upright triangle and downright triangle, the Star of David, right? As above, so below. So you're definitely coming into a place of balance. So when I see this, you passionately moving exactly where your intuition takes you, and I see this as your life and all of your past lives. And what you've done is you've uprooted a pattern that has been with you for lifetimes. And that's what this card says to me, right? And I hope you can see that, because here, here you've got this like explosion of light around what I see as the pattern that a shell makes with that infinity pattern. It's a spiral pattern, and there's a sacred, it's called the Golden Triangle, right? And there was like a movie about it. I've forgotten the name of the book. Amazing. When I did the tarot workshop with you, this is the symbol I got. Oh, wow. So, wait, so Vivian, hang on. Am I getting the right? Oh, this is under a different name. And when did you do it? You did it in the spring or November? When did you do it with me? Recently? That's the symbol that you got? You can't make this up, can you? The last one. You just can't make it up. It has to be that it's come back to tell the truth, right? And so you're shivering. Yeah, the shivers and the chills are often validation. I have a friend who does readings just based on chills, and that when she receives these chills, that's how she knows what's coming through is intuitively driven or given by spirit. So what I'm going to do, friends, is I'm going to talk about the pages and the nights next week. So I'm going to go. It's already 10 past over our time. Thank you so much to everybody who's donated tonight, who sent in their $10. It's going to go straight to Friends of Creacon. You will receive good energy in exchange for the donations that you've made. Thank you so much. Bless you too. Thank you so much, everybody who's been watching. And please give the video a like. Let people know that I've only got 4 more weeks before the YouTube show goes. And I'll be telling you all about the new sort of fun and exciting projects that I'll be doing after that, to let you all know, and keep us in touch together. Have a great night and a wonderful weekend. Bye, everybody. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Bye.